I'm here to talk to you today about a topic that is not easy to discuss, and whenever it comes up in conversation, people tend to shy away from it. School shootings and gun laws. Nobody wants to get that phone call one day when you have kids that there is a shooter on the school grounds. If it has happened to you or you read about it somewhere, this is never a topic that is easy to discuss. School shootings are not a myth, and they are something that occurs every year to hundreds of children in the United States, and it does not stop. Columbine, Sandy Hook, Parkland, all of these took place in different years, but why did the gun laws not get changed? Why did everything stay the same, and why was there nothing done to improve the kids' lives? Along with school shootings, the gun laws that are the effect of the shootings play a big role. Guns are accessible to just about anybody in the US, and I think that plays a big part in this whole gun issue. Like in this picture, it says 68% of all murders are committed with a firearm. Shouldn't this be enough for the people that make these laws to be like, hey, something needs to be done and something needs to be changed to better these people's lives? April 20th, 1999, a day that no one will ever forget. 13 people killed, 24 wounded at Columbine High School. It was just a normal day when two students, Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris, came into the high school and started shooting. This day would be remembered for the tragedies and survivors that came from it. No school shooting should go unnoticed. Like the victims that were taken that day, Cassie Bernall, Stephen Kernroe, Kelly Fleming, Rachel Scott, etc. Since Columbine, several other tragedies have taken place, but Columbine was the start of something that would shake the nation. Quote from one of the shooters, Eric Harris: "We went downtown and purchased the following: double-barrel shotgun, pump-action 12 GA shotgun, 9mm carbine, etc." Columbine is surely not the only school shooting or shootings in general that take place. December 14th, 2012 was just like any other day at Sandy Hook Elementary School. It was named the second deadliest shooting in history. Shooter Adam Lanza committed suicide by handgun shortly after he committed the deadly acts like most shooters do. If readers were to take anything away from this, listen to this. There were teachers who risked their lives for their own students, and that takes a lot of courage. Like teacher Victoria Soto, pictured in the fourth row, fourth picture in. She risked her lives for her students, and I don't think the families would ever be able to repay her family for the kind act that she did. Sandy Hook also had an impact on society by being exposed to the media. The event was random and extreme. Americans identified closely with Newton. A sitting president made this rampage shooting his personal mission. Powerful psychological reactions spread nationwide. Another quote that goes to show the impact Sandy Hook had on the nation: "A call to action neither guarantees immediate change nor necessarily predicts the action that change may take." With school shootings comes backlash from the public and how carrying firearms in public places is not necessary. Respondents were more likely to oppose guns being carried. In many of the public places we asked about if they lived in states with many various issues versus shall issue it. There is a difference between wanting gun laws to be changed and doing something about it. Several surveys done by the U.S. National Firearms Department showed that people would prefer to not have guns be allowed in places that sell alcohol. 12 to 15% of Americans said they had no opinion on public gun laws. Why would people not want change for their future children and families? The gun laws do not apply to schools, just to schools. They apply to every human being on this planet that is deserving of a safe environment to live in. This picture states 31,347 Americans were killed by guns in 2009. 270 million guns are in America, and that is equally to 90 guns for every 100 people. 66,769 non-lethal gunshot wounds happened in America in 2009. And this was in nearly 10 years ago. And just think about what's happening today and how these laws being changed would affect our lives. Schools are a place where students should go every day to be excited to see their friends, and to learn, not a place where people go and wonder, will today be the day we get shot up? According to Elliot Fitzgerald Jr., where all these parents, when we hear of students killing each other with guns, why do these same parents collectively attempt to outlaw these weapons and hold themselves responsible for their children's possession of such weapons? This is very true. The parents sit here and complain about the gun laws that are being enforced to these communities, but they will sit here and do nothing about it and complain. The most recent school shooting that I think nobody will ever forget, Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School shooting. Shooter Nicholas Cruz opened fire, killing 17 teachers and students and injuring 17. Students were recording the dead bodies as they were being escorted out of the campus by police, scared and terrified out of their minds, but wanted proof of the trauma that was about to take over them. Melissa Volkowski, teacher at the high school, took the necessary precautions to protect her students. Students were confused as to why it was not a drill, but when the reality hit, everybody stuck together and wrote out the shooting. Something that might be hard for a lot of the families to grasp and for viewers everywhere to see, the victims of the tragic day are pictured here. Among them, gym teacher Aaron Feist, other students, Luke Hoyer, Jamie Gutenberg, Chris Hickson, Scott Beigel, Helena Ramsey, Peter Wang, Alex Schrader, Nicholas Dorwit, Meadow Pollock, Elena Petty, Kara Laughlin, Carmen Schentrup, Gina Montallo, Alyssa Aldahiv, Joaquin Oliver, Martin Dick, Jamie Gutenberg. All of these people's lives were taken on this day, and something needs to be changed. This cannot keep happening year after year, and officials say there will be something done to change gun laws and prevent this from happening in the future, but nothing is being done. When something like this occurs, there is no easy way to handle it. Will kids go to school the next day? How long will it take to recover from the trauma induced by the events? There needs to be other precautions that are taken to make the kids feel safer and let the parents feel safe sending their child off to school. Ronald Stevens, executive director of the California National School Safety Center, informed the superintendent of a nearby school to install security fences around the school for a safer environment. Derek Peterson, owner of a company called Digital Fly that monitors students' social media posts within the school district, says that this system is being used in countries like Ireland and South Africa and more than 50 schools across the U.S. More precautions need to be taken like this, and not only to make the parents feel safe sending their children to school, but the students in the school as well. Jen Ludwig, who works for the Georgetown University and National Bureau of Economic Research, stated her opinion on the gun violence debate. The project Safe Neighborhoods, formed by the government, is to aid other gun reforms programs. PSN also created a gun lock program which attempted to bring down the number of gun thefts from 500,000 down. There is a lot that PSN does for gun violence and develop ways to stop it, but more needs to be done. People need to take action. Reverend Belita Mitchell gives several tips as to how to properly take care of a gun if you own it legally. Of course, there is the debate why you need a gun if you are not in the army or hunting, but people will always find a way, and there are tips to help weed out the bad ones. Always make sure the person's ID is not fake. They could be a wanted criminal, and the gun can end up in the wrong hands. Never let a sale happen without a background check. If you are going to purchase a gun and they do not require a background check, they could be a crooked gun shop. And if you do own a firearm, always make sure to lock it up in case of a children or anybody that comes to visit your home. There needs to be action taken for the schools that have already been shot up and to help other schools that have not been tragically harmed yet. Better program funding and future research to figure out what the hell to do to figure out why kids are still being killed and why the teachers and parents are afraid to walk into school every day. Victimization experiences, characteristics of the individuals and the schools are all precautions that need to be taken to prevent future school shootings. Authors suggest that more strategic research plans need to take place for something to be done. We can all admit that nobody wants to see another school shooting happen, but if one does happen, maybe something will be done. We can all hope, but nothing is going to get done because all people want to do is shove the deaths and injuries under the rug. When it's your own child or relative, then maybe people will start to care and see that it's not just about the people, it's the guns. It's the fact that people can just go in, get a gun if they pass a background check, and they're home free. This needs to change. There is surely a need for self-defense, but unless you are a part of the military or hunting, I personally believe there is no need to own a gun, any type of gun. Guns hurt people, people hurt people. Thank you.